Alright guys, we've got a fusion right around the corner and I want to make sure that you guys are prepared for it. So let's talk about some of the things you're going to need to complete the next fusion. So I've got an image here. I'm going to pull it up. Boom, magic. Look at that. Look at that. That's magic.
Magic.
But we've got the Lady Noel fusion calendar here that we're going to be using as like an example. Because at the time of me recording this, we don't have a calendar for the next fusion and we don't know what it is yet.
Can we get serious now?
So first you've got the Champion Training event, the Artifact Enhancement event, the Fire Knight Tournament, and Dungeon Divers. So right away, they usually like to start fusions like this with some sort of dungeon tournament, as well as some sort of champion training event or tournament, and then they'll wait to do Dungeon Divers the next day. If you're doing Fire Knight day one, that's first of all, that's the wrong decision.
Don't ever do that again.
Wait to do Fire Knight until Dungeon Divers comes around the second day. So in this fusion, you would start by doing champion training actually on day one. Artifact Enhancement, you've got 3 days to do it. Just make sure that you get it done. Typically, I'll do about 75% of it day one, and then on the last day, I'll find a couple artifacts that I need to upgrade, because usually I have some champions ready to go, and then I'll upgrade their artifacts as soon as the event starts, and then I'm like, okay, now I need to think of some artifacts to upgrade during the next couple days. So day one, you're going to be doing your Artifact Enhancement and Champion Training. Quickly, if you want some silver, we have a really good video on that, but in the clan shop, you get 4 million a week. You can see it comes back every week in slot 1. You can buy up to 4 million a week, as well as Spider's a good place to farm silver, and the Forge. You can craft 10 of these guys and sell the bad ones, you get your money back, definitely. Typically, what I do for champion training is I'll go to the tavern, right, and I'll level my 1 stars with 1 brew and 3 duplicates. So, or 3 other 1 stars, not duplicates. Right, so I don't even take these guys to campaign. Don't even take my 1 stars to campaign. Now my 2 stars, I'll take those guys to campaign. Take them into 12-3 brutal, or you can go 12-6 nightmare, because any other stage is super hard in nightmare, but 12-6 has, you can see their levels are a lot lower, so they're a lot weaker. But 12-6 nightmare will not give you mystery charge and will give you less silver overall. 12-3 brutal is the best. It doesn't give you the most XP, but it does give you more silver because shields sell for more, and it is much easier to manage like stat-wise. So I'll farm. I don't farm 1 stars, then I'm farming these 1 stars. I think that actually was for a video, so give me a free pass on that, or maybe a challenge. But I'll put my 2 stars in, right? I'll do a little run. You filter by 1 and 2 stars. Boom, boom, boom. I'll do a little run. I'll get these guys to level 20. Once those guys are level 20, all right, I'll go back to the tavern. I'll upgrade their rank. We'll do our 2 stars. Actually, we don't have any. We'll upgrade level. I'll spend some potions for you guys. I'll spend some potions. So, take that guy. I upgrade him. I don't worry about leveling up the 2 stars that I feed into him. But for 3 stars, I do. So then when it comes to 3 stars, let's go upgrade level. I'm going to just take this guy to level 30 for you guys. Imagine I leveled him up in campaign. Got all 30 levels in campaign. Alright, this is that video magic. Now, if I want to upgrade his rank, I'm going to take this guy to level 15. I'm going to take this guy to level 15, and I'm going to take this guy to level 15, okay? And then I'm going to grab my guy that needs to level up and filter to the top, put those 15s into him, because that's just extra points for champion training. Boom. And then 4 stars, I will take to level 24. I will max this one out for you guys, I got you. So imagine, took him through campaign again, level 40, and then we're going to upgrade level of some of his friends. So I'll just show you guys one of them. Actually, I'm still filtering by 3 stars. There we go. 4 stars. I'm only going to show you guys one of these guys. Actually, we have one. Level 21 right there. What the heck? Okay, perfect. So I'll click upgrade rank. And then I will take his buddies to level 21. Let me actually show you guys that. So we'll grab one of them and we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4 levels into him. And you can see it takes him to level 21 with only 450 of waste. So not bad at all. I'm not going to hit to upgrade it, but I will upgrade this guy. I'll upgrade 4 of them. And then what I'll do is I'll click upgrade rank, and just imagine I upgraded 4 of them. We're just gonna use chickens for the video, but imagine this is 4 level 21s. Upgrade that guy, and then this is my last strategy. All right.
Ooh, just what I've been waiting for.
All right, level 5s. Level 5s, you get so much, or rank 5s, you get so much XP from these guys, so much points for leveling them up. So we'll filter by our 5 stars, grab one of them. Let's grab this guy. We don't need it to be the same guy. And then actually got to take this filter off. We'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brews in him. And then you can see he's right on the edge of a level. We'll grab a 1 star. And then we'll take him to level 25. I'm not going to do this because I'll be wasting a lot of points. but I would be taking him to level 25, and then I'd feed 5 of these guys into a rank 50 to make my rank 6 champion. So that covers champion training, as well as actually, while you're here, if you upgrade your champion skills, you get points during a champion training tournament, and if you ascend them, you get points during a champion training tournament. But if it's an event, you do not get points for either. Yeah, guys, just checked. All right? So you get points for skills and ascension during the tournaments, but for the events, you do not get points for upgrading skills or ascending them. So just make sure if you're spending your books, you know that it's a tournament, not an event. You can see the events are down here. Here's your events, and then your tournaments are above it. So just make sure that if you're spending your books and ascending them, that you're doing it during a tournament. Now let's go back to the artifact enhancement event, alright? So I showed you guys how to get a little bit of silver in the forge. Told you guys Spider 20 is the way to go if you want some silver, as well as the silver in the clan shop. But typically I'll have some champions ready to go that need their artifacts upgraded. So that was not one of them. I think it's my He-Man. I think He-Man needs his artifacts upgraded. Yeah, He-Man, ready to go. All these need to be leveled up for the tournament. So I'll usually have 2 or 3 champions like this. Marius needs a couple as well. So just have some champions ready to go. That way you can upgrade their stuff. And it's actually champions that you're going to use. Because you don't want to have to go through your inbox and upgrade artifacts that you're not using on anybody. At least I know that these are valuable for my account. So just keep some stuff ready to go for the artifact enhancement event. If you have to go through your inbox, typically I'll filter by like the best stuff. I'll go priority stats speed. I'll put on high. And then you can actually get rid of the filter. So hide set filters. And then I'll just see, okay, it's all boots. Get rid of that. I want everything but the boots. And then I'll see, okay, level 12, but it's epic, so it's already rolled all 3. Is there any mythicals or legendaries I can level up? This is what I try and do during artifact enhancement events, just so I'm leveling a good piece. Okay, this piece right here, perfect example. If there was an artifact enhancement event going on, take this to 12 to see how it rolls. If I already finished upgrading all the artifacts I had on champions that I wanted to use, then I'd go and look at what has speed rolls so I can see if I get quad speed or not. Okay, let's pull back up that fusion calendar, alright? So we covered champion training, we covered artifact enhancement event. Now we've got the Fire Knight tournament. And actually a good rule of thumb for the artifact enhancement event is you want to have about 50 million silver before the fusion starts. And that will usually be good for all 3 artifact enhancement events that are part of it. But if not, you need to make 50 million silver through the course of the fusion. Typically, you can get lucky with your artifacts. It's really comes down to RNG, but 40, 50 million is usually about a safe amount.
But never in real life.
Alright, so now it's day 2. Dungeon Divers came out. You just want to slam that Fire Knight tournament, alright? There is energy in the clan shop. Let me show you guys. If you need energy, there's energy in the clan shop. Sometimes you got to get lucky with it. Tag Team Arena has tons of energy. It's got like a big boost of 300. You can get that weekly. So it's not going to be like enough to do the Dungeon Divers on its own, but it'll help you out. As well as Plarium in the shop gives us... Ooh, they give us free shards. That's what they give us. They give us free packs daily. I don't have one right now, but they give us free packs daily. Let's pretend this is it. That comes with either an energy potion, silver, rank, and rarity charms, or there's one with just, I think it's bruise, silver, rank, and rarity charms. So every 2 days, they give us an energy potion. What you do is when you get that, don't claim it right away. Leave it in your storage. So you can see, free gift from us to you. That's the energy potion they gave me. Another 2 days later, there should be another one. Okay, 3 days later, I must have used one. My fault. 81 days left on that. A couple days later, oop, I must have spent a few. There's some, I guess I bought a few things, and then here's the free one. Here's, oh, you know what it is? It's that New Year's gift chain, I think is, oh, no, I don't know, actually. Must have got some. Actually, it says free, though. It says free from all of them. I don't know. Maybe that was for the Christmas event. Maybe for Christmas they gave us some stuff. Here's another free one. A couple days later, another free one. Some more shop purchases. There's another free one right there. Shop purchases, and another free one. So you get a lot of energy from Plarium. Obviously, some of these on the side are shop purchases. But they give you an energy brew every 2 days. Save that up, because if you've got a 2-week break, between fusions, that's 7 energy brews that you can stockpile in here. That is, I'll do the math for you guys. That is 910 energy if you have the full 130 if you're level 70 or 60, I think this maxes out. So that is a lot of energy. An extra 910 is a big deal. As well as before you even start the fusion, it's nice to have anywhere from like 1,500 to 2,000 gems to convert to energy. So you go into the shop, you go to gem shop, and you buy these energy brews. right? And then it goes right to your inbox. So grab that guy, and you can spend it on the Dungeon Divers. So right here at the top. When you actually start this Fire Night tournament, you want to be hitting basically one of two stages, or you can kind of look at it that way. So stage 20 is the best bang for your buck points-wise to finish the tournament and the Dungeon Divers. Stage 20 is the best one to be hitting for like points and stuff. If you want gear, you want to climb as high as you can into hard mode, preferably stage 10 if you can beat it, to get the best gear drops as well as still really solid points, but not as good as stage 20 on normal. And then if you can't quite hit stage 20, you're a little bit newer to the game, it's quite difficult. Stage 16 is like the third best place for points. So stage 16, stage 20, or as high as you can climb into hard. And that applies to all the dungeons we're going to talk about in this video. So just make sure that you're actually doing the Fire Night tournament while Dungeon Divers is active. That's the most important thing. That way you can maximize your energy, because it's going to be very, very expensive energy-wise to finish the Dungeon Divers tournament. Alright, so we've got all that done. We are done all the way till Thursday, December 19th. The Spider tournament comes around. You do not want to start that right away either, because if you look at just 2 days down the line, December 21st, Dungeon Divers Event 2 is going to start. So you want to wait to do your Spider until that Dungeon Divers Event 2 starts. As well as there's a Summon Rush and an Artifact Enhancement event. We've already talked about the Artifact Enhancement event, so we're not going to touch on that again. The Summon Rush, typically, we'll close this image. Typically for Summon Rush, you want about 6-7 Sacreds if you just want the first set of fragments or the rare champion, depending on if it's a fusion or a fragment summon. And then if you want the last set of fragments or the epic champion, if it's a fusion or a fragment, you typically need about 10 to 11 Sacreds worth of points. So Sacreds are worth 500 points during a Summon Rush. Voids are worth 120. Ancients, I believe, are worth 20 points. Primals, I'm not so sure on those. I think those are worth 200. Is there a Summon Rush right now? Actually, I think there's a Summon Rush right now. Let's take a look at the points. Sometimes they double a certain shard type. Let's see. The more champions you summon, the more you win. Okay, so nothing's doubled here. We go, look. We actually have a freaking event. Okay, 200. I was right. So 500, 200, 120, 20, and 1. Mystery shards, they ain't really worth much here, right? So really, primals I don't like to touch because they're so valuable. So typically I try and save those for just the 2x Mythicals, Legendaries, Epic events. I don't like to use those during fusions. If you have to, it's 200 points. Keep that in mind. Void shards and Sacred shards are typically what I like to use during summon rushes, but usually Sacreds if I can avoid touching my voids. Oh, that's a funny sentence. If I can avoid touching my voids. So Sacreds are my go-to. So you want about 10 to 11 Sacreds worth of points if you plan on getting all of the rewards from the summon rush, meaning like the last set of fragments or the epic champion given Lady Noelle's fusion. If you're doing Lady Noelle's fusion, that would be going for the epic champion. Whereas if you're doing like a fragment summon, that's just getting the last set of fragments. For the summon rush, try not to touch your ancients if you can help it, and we'll talk about that in a second because they are fantastic for the champion chase. Let's pull back up that Lady Noelle image. Yeah. Alright, so you finish the Spider tournament, you have your 10 Sacreds to do the summon rush. Right, you used your little silver hacks on the Artifact Enhancement event. I've got it pulled up on my other monitor, that's why you guys see me looking to the side so much. Dungeon Divers Event 2 is out, as well as Champion Training, Classic Arena, and the Ice Golem is the next day. So if you waited to start Dungeon Divers Event 2 until... So if you waited to start the Spider Tournament until Dungeon Divers 2, you've already made some progress in Dungeon Divers Event 2. Hopefully now you don't have to worry about it too much. You're not quite finished with it after the Spider Tournament because finishing a full Spider or Dragon Ice Golem Fire Night Tournament isn't enough to finish a full Dungeon Divers. But it usually gets you, about a third to half the way there. So we'll imagine that you're about a third to halfway done with Dungeon Divers. So now you've got Champion Training and Classic Arena the same day. Classic Arena is fairly easy. Let me pull up this image. There's not really much to talk about, to be honest. It's just logging in, clicking Classic Arena, clicking refresh, and battling any easy teams that you see. So this Cold Heart, I'd battle it. If you have a higher level account or you're confident that you can beat a team, definitely go for it. Like if you think you could beat something like this, click on it, battle it. You get points for it. If you're a little bit weaker and can't beat a lot of these teams, you need to come back every 15 minutes and hit this refresh button or spend the gems, but I wouldn't recommend spending the gems. So just make sure you're constantly refreshing. In Gold 3, or not Gold 3, in Gold 5, where I'm at, you get 13 points. I don't think there's actually a Classic Arena tournament right now, so I can't show you guys. But you get 13 points per battle. and it's typically about 390 points to get the fragments or the rare, depending on if it's a fusion or fragment event. So usually you need to do about 30 successful fights, 30 wins in Classic Arena over the course of 2 or 3 days to actually get the fragments or the champion. Not really too much to say there. Classic Arena tournaments are typically regarded as like the easiest thing to do during Fusion, so not too much to talk about. Just make sure you log on and do your arena. Alright, so you finished Classic Arena, you've still got the Champion Training Tournament, and you've got Ice Golem coming tomorrow. Champion Training Tournament, you'll use all the same tips that you did for the event, but you can also use your skill tomes now because it's a tournament, and you can also ascend your champions because it is a tournament. So we've covered the Champion Training Tournament. Now, you're still working on Dungeon Divers while you're getting a little bit of points for Dungeon Divers while leveling your champions in the campaign, because those shields actually do count for Dungeon Divers. They're only common or uncommon, so you don't get a lot of points, but it still makes a little bit of progress in the Dungeon Divers. So now you're probably about halfway through the Dungeon Divers. The Ice Golem tournament comes out the next day, and you need to go hard on this Ice Golem tournament. You need to finish this Ice Golem tournament before Dungeon Divers Event 2 expires. And for the Ice Golem tournament, the same advice applies that we said for Fire Knight. So stage 20 is your best place to farm for the points for the tournament and the Dungeon Divers. If you can, if you want the best gear possible, as well as still really good points, but not as good as stage 20, climb as high as you can into hard, preferably stage 10 if you can hit it. And if you're still relatively new to the game, stage 16 should be where you're going for points. And then once you're done with the Ice Golem tournament, if you haven't finished Dungeon Divers yet, you need to keep pushing until you finish the Dungeon Divers tournament and get the rare champion or the fragments. Alright, so now we're assuming that you finished the Ice Golem tournament. An artifact enhancement event comes back around. We've talked about that. It's going to be the same as the other artifact enhancement events. Level up the gear that you've been waiting to level up, that you have purposely not leveled up because of these tournaments. You always want to wait for them to come around before you level up gear. Remember the silver tips that we talked about. Just make sure you're getting instant silver in the forge. If you're struggling for silver, craft some gear, sell it. That gives you silver extremely fast. Now next you've got the Dragon Tournament, and it looks like in this fusion there was not a third Dungeon Diver, so that's nice. So the Dragon Tournament, you are free to complete. Alright, so you're fighting Dragon Tournament. Click on Dragon Tournament. You want to be fighting stage 20 for the most optimal amount of points. If you're a little bit newer, same advice follows as the other dungeons. Hit stage 16. And if you're late in the game and you can, this is the easiest dungeon to hit, stage 10 on hard. But if you can, hit stage 10 on hard for the best gear drops. And you probably do want to be climbing as high as you can into hard if you care about the speed gear, because speed is really good on like your arbiter and stuff, so you want to get a lot of speed gear to try and get good speed rolls. But if you just want the points, stage 20 is your way to go, and you'll probably be selling most of the gear because most of it's going to be crap anyway. Alright, so now you've finished the Dragon Tournament. You've got the Champion Training Event number 2. So this is an event, not a tournament, so you cannot use your skill tomes, you cannot use your potions. Just remember that. The same advice applies though as we talked about the other Champion Training Event. Alright, you're working on that. The next day is a Champion Chase Tournament. So if it's a fusion, the last event is a Champion Chase Tournament, typically you want 80 to 100 Ancient Shards. If it's a 2x, it makes it a lot easier, but typically you'd like 80 to 100 Ancient Shards, as well as you do have access to Permanent Fusion and Broadmaw. But if you have Mikage still or Razin, those points count as well for fusing those champions, whether it be the legendaries in Mikage or Mikage herself, as well as Razin. If you fuse one of the epics, that counts for points. Fusing him also counts for points. And then Fragment Summons, if I summon this guy, this is points during the Champion Chase event. And then Remnant Summons, if you're late enough in the game to get these also give you points during the Champion Chase event. As well as Prism Shards. If you have a Prism Shard, like a free Prism Shard from Sand Devil, those will give you points during Champion Chase as well. Now these fusions, we'll imagine that this is Lady Noelle. You've been collecting rares the whole time. Now that the Champion Chase tournament is out, it's time to level up those rares. So pretend these are the rares down here. Level these guys up, then you fuse them into epics, and you actually get points for it. So if you were to fuse 3 of the epics, because you won't have the 4th one yet because you're working on the Champion Chase tournament, that would give you, they were void epics, so you'd get 1,050 points for all 3 of them. A typical epic, so one epic that's void is going to give you 350 points, and one regular epic will give you 250. So just keep that in mind before you fuse these guys right away. Wait to fuse them until the Champion Chase tournament comes around. And then once you fuse those 3 and you've opened your 80 to 100 Ancient Shards is what I'd recommend. Guys, this is post-editing Grinch.
Hello, it's me.
So just make sure that you actually have the potions you need to complete the fusion as well. So you can see these guys right here, they're not ascended. So when you do the fusion, for example, the Lady Noelle fusion, you will need all the Ascension Potions for the 16 rares, and you will need your Ascension Potions for the 4 epics that go into Lady Noelle. So just make sure that your stockpile is looking really nice. You can check that by going to the tavern, clicking on Ascend, and going to your potion mixer. So just make sure you've got a nice stockpile for what you need. I think for the Lady Noelle fusion, you needed magic potions for the rares and I'll say void potions for the epic. So yeah, I luckily had a nice stockpile of that, but just make sure you guys are aware that you're going to need this stuff. Then you've got one more event to do in the case of the Lady Noelle fusion, so we'll pull that up. You've got one more classic arena takedown in the Lady Noelle fusion. So once you finish that, you'll get your last rare. Then you'll come over to your portal, you click on fusion, right? You'll combine those last 4 rares into your last epic. Then you combine your 1, 2, 3, 4 epics. And then you can fuse them into Lady Noelle. It's going to cost you, I think, 1,000,000 silver to fuse a legendary champion during a fusion. If it's a fragment event, then the whole time you've been doing these events, you've just been collecting fragments. And when you finish the fusion, you'll have 100 out of 100. You can get more than that. Sometimes you can get like 115. You're done when you finally hit that 100 out of 100. And then you can actually leave them in your fragment summon if you want to save them for the next fusion for extra points during the next champion chase. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for the fusion guide.
What a time to be alive.
So kind of the big takeaways is you really want resource-wise about 2,000 gems would be preferable to spend on energy if you don't have any saved up from the daily gifts that Plarium gives us. So if you have some with the daily gifts, you don't need as many gems, but it's still nice to have at least 1,500 to 2,000 going into a fusion. 7 sacreds would be like the safe amount for the summon rush. I'd say 7 sacreds would be nice going into a fusion. 80 to 100 ancients, preferably 100 if you can get it, going into the champion chase. And it would be nice if you had some fragments stockpiled or some little fusions right here stockpiled to do. That would be nice as well to help you. And about 40 to 50 million silver. So if your resources are looking like that before the next fusion starts, you should be good to finish it. Just make sure you're logging on every day and doing the events and tournaments. That's really the biggest thing is time. Once you get a little bit later in the game, once you get Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss unlocked, the shards are not really an issue. The gems and energy isn't really an issue. It's more about time. But yeah, we're going to say, we'll just highball it. We're going to say 7 sacreds, 100 ancients, 50 million silver, and 2,000 gems. You should be good to beat a fusion. As well as a butt ton of time. We'll add that as like the 5th thing you need, alright? You need a butt ton of time. And I just use the Lady Noelle fusion calendar as like a guide. Make sure that you get these calendars when they come out from someone's Discord server or the official Raid Shadow Legends server itself or a YouTube video or something like that. Make sure you have access to this calendar so you can see when the events are going to actually pop up, and make sure you're doing the Dungeon Divers while another dungeon tournament, whether it be Fire Knight, Spider, Ice Golem, or Dragon, is active. If not, you will waste tons of energy doing those events too early. The Lady Noelle fusion we just used as a guideline. The next fusion will probably be structured a little bit differently. It could be a fragment summon, it could be a fusion, but completing the events is always kind of the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a fragment event or a fusion, you're still summoning your Sacred Shards for Summon Rush, you're still opening Ancient Shards for Champion Chase, you're still farming Dragon the same way, so it doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit that changes whether it's a fragment or a fusion. But the events are all the same, so this is more of a guide on the events. And if you would like to join us on this raid journey, you're new to Raid Shadow Legends, you want to start playing, or you want to make a second account, you get a fantastic legendary champion in Mr. Karato Fox Hunter. Great damage, great crowd control for waves. And then we've got our amazing Fayne, the little rat. She's really good for clan boss, fantastic epic. You've got Vergis, the #1 solo Scarab King champion. If you don't know who the Scarab King is, you don't want to find out, one of the most annoying bosses, but this guy can handle it. And then you get a solid support in Mr. Romero down here. 3 epic champions and a legendary for free. Not a bad deal. But with that being said, that's going to be the end of the video. I've been GrinchKD. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.